Hello, everyone. It looks like I received yet another message from Edgar Allan Poe this morning, and I was up early typing away, and before I knew it, it was 4 pages in. But I thought this was quite interesting, and I'm hoping that you'll enjoy listening to it.
Within the darkness, doors have closed. There stands alone a single rose. The eyes shut tight for nothing to see. The angel steps to destiny. A rumor here, a rumor there, a nation under great despair. The angel lifts the light just so, and all the people begin to know. They sow their seed as all men do, but take back what belonged to their crew. A simple fellow adorned in brown, he wears a feathered lightweight crown, and shows how the land can once again restore. This is how it was once made pure. The angel lifts and lights one more. A countryman of Celtic lore, he sows the seed and wipes his eyes, no longer feels sorrow for the many lies. He sits and waits no more. He takes his power back outside of the door and changes his world forevermore. The angel sings a tune or two, and lifts the bellows of smoke from noon. There in the shadows of Scotland's hills lifts a bell tower sage who remember how it begins. He sings as well, he knocks the door, and changes the power of the sacred store. Once druid sage, once wizard of light, he spins the earth to begin a new sight. The angel dances a jig or two, and lifts the people of Ireland too. She dances upon the green clover again, and seeds the love from where it began. The gales of wonder and echoes of truth, the rainbow follows as does the flute, and climate winds of comforted love brings back the fairy just like the dove. The angel floats above the whales and frees the people of frozen stares, and sifts the earth and removes their hell, where bells can ring and hearts can dwell. The angel aligns in one big breath. She blows a wind to the Frankish land. The struggles, the sorrows in all the hand, the back of pain and worry more, has now been heard on the cinder's door. She lifts their voice so high, they say, that many of the people are heard that day, and find that they are bound no more. They take to the cities, villages and light, they stand all united without a fight, and freedom, love, thus rule throughout. The human race had fought a good fight. Each one received their reward in the light. The angel blows a kiss and more. There then opens another door. Then arrows flow to attack her hard, but grace forever prevents their charge. They collapse on the ground without a fight. The weapons and bullets no longer have might. She steps into another door. That reality will never be the same anymore. The angel talks, she laughs and drinks. She looks for Picts who hid in the clinks. The caves and the dragons will harness their steed. They have much more control, that the warriors no longer bleed. They jump and volley and assist the sacred places. They have no problem with all the human races. The children of Hyrabred, the hybrid is all who have to learn. They don't deserve this earth at all. They will not stay, it is not their place, and the Picts will be their escort to their next place. And so it is said, how great is the meek, but in our occasion the words have changed to another beat. The humans have what they deserve from the start, so why should they apologize and give away what is theirs? Nevermore shall we say, that the people of earth have to give earth away. Be gone with your creators, your new masters of labs. This is not the way it will be. The earth will not embrace the bad. Then the angel did rest and gazed upon the north, the ancient mounds and the ancient courts. They all recollected, as a group or two. The angel had spoken, and this is someone they knew. The Titans lifted and held things in order. The Vikings remembered all the spoils that needed to be aborted. The people remembered the echo of Odin, and so the land is not forever frozen. A guide or two, a wandering man, a thinking brow can restore the land. The ancient ones thought to be afraid of the hungry creatures from beyond the grave. But fear no more, as Odin opens their door, and all will be restored, as many times is written before. The angel looked for Germanic grace, the older people and older race. They had a promise, but they forgot that too, so they got into fear and attacked what they knew. It is an old story, and had happened many times. These people of the Odin did also forget what was already fine, and gave away the storehouse to many wars and more. When you remember the divine promise, it is no longer necessary to be in war. The angel lifted, and twice she flew. A heavy wind pushed her down or two, but she brushed herself off and began to float, and there she found an ancient moat, and struck the wind a powerful view. She observed the wicked in an ancient sight or two. They took the blood and floated as well, but this light energy was more an energy of hell. So what is up is down, and what is down is up. She turned their cup in a pouring out way, so they could never find their home in any possible way. I tell you not for fear of harm, but when this is done and no one else can be around, though the wicked try to change the cup, it will never be the same as it once was. You see, freedom is a gift, only given from above. The angel dwell alone upon the higher gift of love. If one does forfeit grace, there is nothing more said. They fall into nothing, for nothing can hold on to their dense head. Too dense to arise, too dense to sleep, they cannot lift their very feet. and off they go, in balance unmatched. They break and break, like a bird that is hatched, and fall forever, or seemingly so, for none of the dimensions can hold such a heavy load. So the angel looked deep to find the hidden gems, and the eastern people began to shout and yell, "See me more, I am here. We held on strong despite the fear. We gave a strong fight, but we never won the war. Yet for some reason we're still holding on to the door." So the people sat up and just walked on through, and Eastern Europe knew what to do. They forgot for a moment that this was their land, but the strong-willed captains dusted themselves off the ground. They began to take back what the moat did take, and they will recapture what the darkness created, and turn it into something living and newly created. So the angel looked and breathed in once more, for the Roman steel was too harsh as a door. So she blew upon the steel, and it collapsed into dust, and the cinder of the earth gave back the damned in earth's crust. Then she dusted off the bell, the sacred light that once lived there, and asked that the blinders come off and allow the people to come out of the dark and awaken from the past, to come back to the present at last. Then the angel looked out beyond and saw the Basque looking on. The Pyrenees stood still and didn't bow nor break their will. So power from above said, "What say you, Spanish dove? Will you flight amongst the others, or use your energy for the cellars?" Then a voice came out loud and clear, "Hello, we are still here. Our hearts are pure but outnumbered for sure, as the history had proved that dark nights should rule. But today we will give them back, all of them to you. The ports, you gal, the land of question, it is changed and turned for many a mission. They took and moved and traveled well, but not for any cause, but for destiny's tale. But they did move in missions of intrigue, and found that they became the ruler's sleeve. So they wanted to change their destiny, but more needs to be seen. We searched for a light that was hidden indeed, and will remain there until the right one will lead. The angel did fly over Andorra and more. It followed the flow of the portal from before. Then she jumped to Holland with grace and light. The colors were off, so she gave it its light. Then lifted a flower, and many more too. The land had rivers and wonders that are new. So they shared it with the Franks, who remembered their truth, and they spread it to the Germans, who understood their light too. The Bavarians changed, and the Austrians too, so the colors were balanced within all that became new. I heard a voice hover far and high. Above the Matterhorn did they make a cry? We want to be restored back to where we did start. So the angel opened the door to those people's heart. And then the light did shine some more, as the people began to awaken to what was in store. The angel now looked and trudged through the desert, a fowl did rule the sacred seven. But none did question them ever before, lest the Jinn would jump out and create a new war. So the angel laughed and commanded them to go back to where they belong and apologize for what they do. So the Jinn did chime and tone real strong, but then aligned and left the people alone. The people looked up. What hell have we seen? Can we open a point and view like a movie screen? Our time seems to end over and over again, and yet we remain in this nightmarish dream. So the angel asks the heavens to see all that is seen, and this time the Jinn will no longer lead. Then I heard a voice, a silk pattern or two. The east had been woven as woven things do, some silk and some rope, some sour and some sweet. They couldn't understand why they couldn't balance from the sky and the deep. So a messenger will be sent from the yellow dragon. They will learn to love and return to what they had forgotten. A lifting of the light was held back for so long that the sound of metal was like tin in their crown. They were worn, and their souls were red from the heat. This is not the way life is supposed to be. They forgot so low that they gave up so much more, and now the memory of their own life must be restored. So another must come in to help them again, or else they will be dense like the heavy lead in hand. The gates began to open to Africa and knew. Tunisia began to quake, and then the rest of portals too. More Jinn and unseen planets peered beyond the broken gates. There was a gaping hole in the land that had no sight. Well, sight indeed is true, not blind in any way. But did they see illusions or the light to light their way? Still the earth would not respond, the water did recede. The people cried for more, and the hearts of many bleed. Why red? They said. Haven't we had enough of this tree? It is a prison state from the entities they receive. The angel shook her head. Why do they suffer so, and trust the many creatures whom they worship deeply and know? I will return again, but for now I will have to wait. There are so many others who are waiting at the gate. The angel flew to Lemur, the Pacific coast at first, and lifted the many ancients who helped the people stir. They had the ancient ways, but did not use them right always. So the Lemurians did fly to another land in the sky. The people of the waters must make decisions on their own, but in my heart I trust that many will then grow. As a child leaves the nest sometimes, it is all best. The parents flew away and allowed the children to grow and stay. Then I looked upon a land with so many different hands, a mix of sorts, a boiling pot, a conflict of everything, and then a collection of a lot. They managed and mingled, they unified and singled, the so many things happening under one wing. The American host quite torn and mended. It was a cacophony of all things, but still never ended. How many lights were needed for so many represented? The angel sprinkled light upon all those who would embrace it. Then corridors did open, and the many pathways did wind. The wind blew north to Canada, where the ancient ones did climb. The people thought to listen as the weather brought them to their knees. They humbled under the ice and did work as worker bees. The darkness did come to take, and take so many as they could. The labs were there to harvest the worker bees and youth. It was intended for harvest, but so many were rescued. The battle isn't yet over, as they live to free themselves anew. Then the wind blew twice, but a wall held it back. The invisible wall was strong and steadfast. This was a wall of anger, not of mingling the groups. It was a wall from bitterness, from either side or truth. But the angel was persistent, and found a crack or two, where love did find an open heart to lift humanity through. So many untold creatures lying in the darkness too, disguised as human leaders, and they let the people fall through. The angel sent a light, it spun and lifted high. It fell upon Antarctica to reveal what was in the sky, then dropped down deep to summons the angel's spirit through. The light did shine and twined again on northern Iceland too. The Greenland had lost its curse, the sacred barrows torn apart, and all a woven stand of truth, the earth once again was brought to renew. So now you heard my story through. What simple love can light what's true? If just one angel can touch the world, imagine what you can do as you restore. So many here to do your part. Don't hesitate to begin or start. The light she carried is the same that is already within you. It's just she remembered before you. Here, take my words and sow it into the earth, and turn again to ask for a restart, and then we begin as the earth is sorted through. Let's all begin, and let's begin anew.
Okay, so you can see that there is this discourse or an observation of Edgar Allan Poe as he interacts with this angel. And the angel goes and does all these different things throughout the planet. And you kind of get a feeling it's kind of light, and seeing that in some ways there's a handing off of the baton, as one would say, like as in a race, but not in a race to get away from anything or to outdo anyone. But it's time for certain people to stand up and kind of take on the role. And so in this case, the first one is what appeared to be as a simple fellow adorned in brown. He wears a feathered lightweight crown. It's sort of like it reminded me of an indigenous person, Native American maybe. That's the first one that comes up. And then it goes into the Celts, Ireland, Scotland, kind of goes through the UK, and, travels along through different parts of the world. And of course, it doesn't mention every single region of the world, and there's certain reasons why that the detail doesn't come across. Is because some areas have a closer connection to the things that we've been working with. And I would say that, there are certain areas that seem to be embracing and wanting to learn more and to return back to a higher knowing. And then there are others that may seem to be progressive but are progressively moving into more of unnatural robotic reality. And so you can see that there's a conflict, and also some have taken different paths that make it a longer stroll back to where they should be. And there is a comment about the pics, which I know that many of you have heard me talking about the pics here. And they're kind of a mysterious people. They do walk the parallels. And so they got included the references to Odin and not some other religious icons or leaders. Is here again, this is an area that we're connecting to, and it is something that is right for us. So people choose to have another belief system. It's not stating either way, but this is something that we are embracing and appreciating, that we have the freedom to do so and to have our own expression. So as I'm looking through, there's a comment about the way that he says Portugal, Portugal, he called it Ugal, or maybe it was Gaul. It was really interesting the way he said it, so I left it like that. I kind of wanted to go along with the way that he said it and kind of the flow, the poetic way of his expression. And so I wrote it down exactly as I heard it with some minor editing. There was also a point where the jinn were mentioned, and that's, some of the problems that were influenced by other beings, and not necessarily the fault of humanity, but still, sometimes the awareness was important and needed to come into the forefront. I really enjoyed bringing this information in, just like my other channeling. When the information comes in, I just write it, and there's no hesitation, no thinking about it. There was a point when Poe mentioned the angel flew to Lemuria. He's also, of course, referencing Lemuria, but I think for obvious reasons, keeping within a poetic flow. So, there are some words that were slightly altered for that reason. And it ends up going through Antarctica and the North Pole, but instead of going to the North Pole, it goes up to Iceland and Greenland. And, circles around the Earth in an interesting way. It was not anything that I had planned. I literally tried to keep true to the information and how it came in. And so with that said, I hope you fully appreciate what is said here. And in my thoughts, I felt it was not just that it was positive, but promising and encouraging for a lot of the work that many of us have done here. And grateful for some of the insights and confirmations that we've been getting. So I'm grateful that Poe has been coming through. It was completely unexpected. I know many of you are wondering what happened to the Andronicus transmissions. Oh, they're still there. But it seems that they're having me go through a different flow in order to present the information that needs to come forward. So it really doesn't matter what form it comes in. For example, whether it's regressions, whether it is this channeled messages from Poe that's been coming in the past couple days, or the Andronicus transmissions, which we've been doing for the past couple years. those have not ended. Nothing has ended. And we will continue doing regressions and interviews and so forth, and keeping track with everything that needs to be updated just to keep you informed in the areas that I'm feeling directed to do so. There are many people out there that are sharing information. You know, this is our little corner in the world where we're going to express how we want to and enjoy that freedom. So, for many of you, I'm grateful. Thank you for your wonderful support. Thank you for listening, and I'm going to do my best to keep you forever informed. Have a good day.